is Al Uhouse from QRI Construction. I interviewed 5 to 6 builders over a long period of time, about a 2-year period, before I decided to actually go ahead with the project. I'm coming from a low-cost area, one of the most inexpensive areas in the country, to a much higher cost area, and I had a very limited budget. And one of the problems that I ran into was convincing the builders here that I had this limited budget. Al listened to what I had to say and got me into a budget that I could at least start with. And so that's how we hooked up. I looked at a lot of different people. You have 2 components to building a custom home. One is the base package that everything is included on for your framing, the rest of the stuff, and the other is your extra package, flooring, kitchens, and I felt Al's pricing was the most realistic pricing that we got. His allotment numbers were right on the money, and that was a determining factor for my wife and I choosing Al. Another thing that he did for us, prior to signing, we did go visit his kitchen people and his plumbing people to assure us that the budget numbers that we got were correct, and they were within the margin of error. And so that's how we hooked up with Al, and he has delivered a top quality product. It's an excellent home. He's built it very, very well. Good. So we're pleased with that factor, because we couldn't have gone ahead with it without hitting our initial budget. Everyone said they could do it, but Al actually delivered on the number that he said he would, and his budgets were right on the money, within margin of error.
How about the timeline for the home?
Timeline was constricted. Al was going to enter it into the parade of homes if I could move on my home. Selling my home was paramount to moving ahead with the project. I kind of put him back about 3 weeks to a month, so I kind of squished him a little bit in his time frame, but when I was able to sell my house, we were able to sign on the deal, and he delivered it on time. A couple things about Al's business that I didn't see with other people. He does handle the tools himself, so he is on site every day with the tools, and so that gave him a certain advantage, I felt, with doing the work himself. His trim work, his carpentry work is second to none. Most of the other people were subbing that part of the package out. Al was able to do that himself. Obviously, it gave him a little bit of an edge, I think, for the overall build, and he was here every day. A lot of people managed the product. Most of the people that I dealt with were project managers as opposed to the builders, and that was another determining factor in choosing Al.
And the project's going to be completed on time?
On time and complete inside the budget that I had hoped for. That's another thing that Al did along the way. You can be like a kid in a candy store when you start picking your stuff. It's very, very difficult when you go picking flooring and the other components that go in to stay in budget. His budgets were accurate. He assured me that, they were a little bit on the low side because of my constricted budget, but it was feasible to do with the number he gave me. Then I went over on certain things, and he gave me a running total of that all along the project, so I didn't, Henry remind me, be careful, you have a ways to go yet, so you could blow your entire budget on your kitchen alone.
Sure.
And so he kept me kind of in the line, so I was on time, on budget, so I didn't, do something stupid on the way. I'm not in the construction business, so I used Al. He made about 15 recommendations. We took every recommendation they had, and we're happy that we did, because he kept me on budget and on point for completing the project, and I think you'll see it's a very nice home.
Yes, it is.
We're very happy with it.
Great. And you'd recommend Al to?
Absolutely.
Great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.